The wind howled over the high cliffs of the Amarthia's mountains, carrying with it the whispers of fate. Hidden within the mist, atop the highest peak, lay the Temple of Renewal, a sacred sanctuary where souls seeking transformation underwent the ultimate ritual, the shedding of their past, symbolized by the shaving of their heads. Only those with the purest resolve could make the pilgrimage, and tonight, 4 women climbed the final steps to the temple, their destinies intertwined by fate. Each came with a different past. Each carried her own burdens. But by dawn, they would be reborn. The 4 women arrived at the temple gates just as the great bronze bell tolled midnight. Their feet ached from the long journey, their cloaks soaked from the mountain mist. Yet, despite their exhaustion, their hearts burned with anticipation. Amara, the first among them, led the way. She was tall and strong, with piercing green eyes that had seen too much for her young age. Once the heir to a fallen kingdom, she had abandoned her title, seeking renewal beyond the weight of her past. Beside her walked Naomi, a former warrior with scars that told a story of countless battles. She had fought for a kingdom that no longer existed, and now, with nothing left, she sought a new purpose. Celine, a quiet woman with an air of mystery, kept her hood drawn low. She had once been a priestess of another faith, but doubts had driven her from her former life. She sought not just transformation, but truth. Celine, a quiet woman with an air of mystery, kept her hood drawn low. She had once been a priestess of another faith, but doubts had driven her from her former life. She sought not just transformation, but truth. And finally, Lyra, the youngest of them all. Barely past 20, she had been a noblewoman who fled an arranged marriage. But she had not come here merely to escape, she sought to forge a destiny of her own. The great stone doors creaked open, revealing the temple's grand interior. The air was thick with incense, the flickering torches casting elongated shadows on the walls that bore the carvings of those who had come before. At the center of the chamber stood the high priestess. She was a striking figure, draped in flowing robes of crimson and gold. Her face was ageless, her deep-set eyes holding the weight of centuries. And like the monks who flanked her, her head was bare, shining like polished ivory under the firelight. "You have come seeking renewal," she said, her voice resonating through the chamber. "Know this. Once the razor touches your head, there is no turning back. You will leave behind who you were. Only those prepared to embrace their new selves may proceed." The 4 women exchanged glances. There was no fear among them. "We are ready." Amara spoke for them all. The high priestess nodded. "Then kneel." The women knelt on sacred mats arranged in a circle. The monks stepped forward, carrying golden razors that gleamed in the firelight. Each woman had a monk assigned to her, their hands steady with the experience of countless rituals before. Amara was the first. She had never known fear in battle, but as the monk lifted the razor to her head, a shiver ran down her spine. The first stroke was silent, save for the soft rasp of metal against hair. A long, thick lock of dark hair tumbled to the floor. With each stroke, more hair followed. Amara closed her eyes, feeling the cool air kiss her exposed scalp. She had thought she would feel vulnerable. Instead, she felt free. Naomi, the warrior, had always worn her hair in a tight braid. It had been a symbol of her strength, a relic of the countless battles she had fought. But as her braid was severed, she exhaled deeply, as if releasing the ghosts of the past along with it. Celine's transformation was different. As her raven locks fell away, she whispered prayers under her breath, her voice steady. She was not just shedding hair, she was shedding doubt. And then there was Lyra. As the razor glided over her scalp, she let out a soft, breathless laugh. She had expected to feel fear, but instead, she felt something intoxicating: power. When the ritual was complete, the 4 women looked at each other, their bare scalps gleaming under the temple lights. There was no sadness, no regret, only rebirth. The high priestess stepped forward, carrying a bowl of sacred oil. She anointed each woman's head with slow, deliberate movements, whispering ancient blessings. "You have shed more than hair tonight," she said. "You have shed your past selves. You stand before the gods reborn." The temple doors opened once more, revealing the first light of dawn. The women stepped forward, their hearts light, their paths unknown but full of promise. For they were no longer bound by who they once were. They had embraced their true selves. And the world would never be the same. Years later, stories would be told of the 4 women who emerged from the Temple of Renewal. Amara became a queen, not of a fallen kingdom, but of a new order, one built on wisdom rather than bloodshed. Naomi wandered the land as a warrior monk, teaching those who sought the path of strength and peace. Selene became the new high priestess, her shaved head a symbol of her devotion to truth and enlightenment. And Lyra? She disappeared into legend, a phantom who danced between worlds, forever free. But one thing remained certain: none of them had ever looked back.